What's up, champs? Welcome back to the channel. Let's jump straight into today's MMA news. Arman nearly walked out of an interview with Daniel Cormier after a tense back and forth over Paddy Pimblett potentially receiving a title shot before him. During their conversation, Arman didn't hold back, making it clear he believes Paddy isn't a legitimate contender. He argued that Paddy hasn't faced elite competition, hasn't proven himself against top names, and absolutely doesn't deserve to be anywhere near a title fight. When Cormier chuckled at Arman's blunt comments, Arman became visibly irritated and even joked that he might walk out if DC dared to call Paddy a good fighter. Arman doubled down, listing a series of fighters he believes Paddy couldn't beat. He said Paddy can't beat Charles, can't beat Dan Hooker, can't beat Dustin Poirier, and can't beat Justin Gaethje. He added that Paddy wouldn't stand a chance against Max Holloway and certainly not against him. Arman emphasized that if Paddy could beat even Justin, then he'd finally admit that Paddy is good. But right now, he believes Paddy simply doesn't belong at the top. Cormier pushed back playfully, asking whether Arman truly thinks Paddy is that bad. Arman didn't hesitate, replying, "No, he suck." When Cormier questioned him again, Arman fired back, asking DC if he genuinely thought Paddy was good, warning that if DC said yes, he'd turn off the interview on the spot. The tension made for a fiery moment, perfectly capturing Arman's frustration with the lightweight title picture. Before we continue, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. It really helps support the channel. Moving on to another news, Mike Perry has stunned fans after revealing that he may be forced into early retirement because of a massive tax bill that caught him completely off guard. After enjoying one of the biggest years of his career in 2024, picking up huge paydays, and even launching his own fight promotion, Perry now finds himself staring at more than $800,000 in taxes that he says were mishandled by his own accountants. On a new episode of his Overdogs podcast, along with several social media posts, he explained the situation in detail, and the frustration in his voice was impossible to ignore. Perry said the financial mess stems from what he claims was a major accounting mistake involving his earnings from the Jake Paul fight. According to him, his accountants failed to properly process or report that income, leaving him with a crushing bill that he insists he should have been prepared for long before the IRS came calling. He described the moment he found out, saying his accountant told him, "Hey, Mike, we just saw the Jake Paul money." Perry said he was stunned and responded by asking how they were only now discovering it, when the money had been sitting there the whole time. In his words, "Somebody dropped the ball, bro." The financial strain is so intense that Perry admitted he's genuinely considering retirement. He even joked, though with clear bitterness, about giving everything up and disappearing into the woods. He said, "I'm retiring though. I did it to go camping in the woods. They not letting me be rich. They were like, 'Oh, you thought you was rich? Give us everything you have.' And I was like, wow, now was the time I was supposed to have the money." Perry went on to say he feels like he owes everything to them, referring to the government, and that the situation is so overwhelming he's thought about selling everything he owns, pulling all his money out of the bank, hiding it, going off the grid, or even doing a little bit of prison time just to reset his life. The emotional toll of this tax disaster has clearly pushed Perry to the edge, leaving fans wondering what his future in combat sports might look like. Moving on to another news, Shavkat Rakhmonov has given a detailed update on his health and revealed when he expects to return to the UFC. He explained that the meniscus and ACL injury he suffered actually happened before his fight with Garry. Because he hadn't prepared for such a long time and didn't want to lose the opportunity to compete, he chose to go through with the fight despite the injury. Shavkat said he took a risk, but the injury didn't get any worse during the bout. In his words, the damage was the same scale of injury before the fight as after the fight, so he didn't make the situation more severe by competing. Initially, Shavkat hoped to avoid surgery and let the injury heal through rest and rehab. He wanted to give his body time, hoping that recovery alone would be enough. But as the rehab progressed, he realized that wasn't the case. The injury wasn't improving the way he needed it to, and surgery became unavoidable. That procedure, and the recovery that followed, is what kept him out of action for such a long stretch. He noted that it's now approaching a full year since he last fought. Despite the long layoff, Shavkat reassured fans that he feels good and healthy at this stage of his recovery. He believes he'll be ready to return at the end of February or sometime in March, depending on how the final stages of rehab go. After his appearance on the Ariel Helwani show, Shavkat went on Twitter to clarify his earlier comments regarding Ian Garry. He tweeted, "No trash talk, just facts. Ian Garry lost to me while I was injured. He hasn't finished anyone in his last 6 fights, and Prates nearly stopped him. Doesn't sound like a #1 contender to me." His message made it clear that, in his mind, the welterweight division still runs through him, and he intends to prove it once he's fully recovered and back in the cage. Moving on to another news. Tony Ferguson has once again sparked debate by claiming he would have beaten Islam Makhachev if they had met during his prime. Speaking with Helen Ye, Tony didn't hesitate to share his thoughts, saying that in his opinion, Islam was always one of the guys giving Khabib tough rounds in the practice room. He compared their dynamic to the relationship between Aljamain Sterling and Merab, saying that sometimes a fighter truly shines only after a dominant teammate steps aside. According to Tony, Islam fit that mold perfectly. Tony explained that he always viewed Islam as a highly conditioned athlete who stayed in the shadows out of respect, especially when Khabib's father was still around, guiding the team. He suggested that Islam didn't try to surpass Khabib during that period, focusing instead on improving quietly behind the scenes. But once Khabib retired and dealt with his personal and family matters, Tony believes that Islam finally stepped into his own spotlight and showed the world what he was capable of. He also emphasized that at the end of the day, all fighters are simply athletes trying to pass on their knowledge to the next generation. Still, Tony made it clear that in his prime, he would have beaten Islam. He said that if someone trained at his camp for 1 or 2 years, they'd be better prepared than wrestlers coming out of Dagestan. It was a bold statement, but classic Tony Ferguson confidence. Tony went on to say there are only 2 fighters he still wants to face, no matter where the fights would take place: Conor and Khabib. He believes that both matchups would sell massively because of the history, the hype, and the energy they bring. He insisted that if you put him and Khabib together at the White House, he would guarantee a moment that the world wouldn't forget. Moving on to another news. Bisping has made it clear he isn't impressed with some of Ilia's recent decisions. Speaking on his Believe You Me podcast, Bisping broke down why he feels Ilia is avoiding the right fights at the wrong time. He pointed specifically to Ilia not engaging with Arman, saying the lightweight champ shouldn't be thinking about moving up to 170 for a potential super fight with Islam Makhachev until he first defends his belt. According to Bisping, the UFC shouldn't even entertain that move until Ilia proves himself as the reigning champion in his own division. Bisping explained that this wasn't an attack on Ilia as a person or a fighter. In fact, he praised him heavily, calling him cool, smooth, charismatic, and a phenomenal competitor. He made it clear he respects Ilia, both inside and outside the cage. However, he questioned Ilia's silence and direction, asking where the champ is and why he hasn't responded to the fighters calling him out. Bisping reminded listeners that Ilia previously hinted he would rather vacate the belt than defend it against Arman, which only added to the confusion surrounding his current stance. He compared the situation to comments Ian Garry made toward Islam, reminding him that as champion, he has an obligation to defend against the best available challengers. Bisping echoed that sentiment toward Ilia, saying a champion can't pick and choose or go missing when the division is demanding clarity. He stressed that Ilia has responsibilities now, especially after becoming champ and leaving featherweight behind without facing contenders like Charles. Bisping concluded that Ilia must defend the belt before entertaining any talk of moving to welterweight or chasing super fights. In his view, proving himself at lightweight is the only path that makes sense right now, and Ilia needs to step up, make a statement, and face the top contenders waiting for him. Moving on to another news. Shavkat Rakhmonov has stepped into the conversation surrounding the UFC welterweight title picture, making his stance loud and clear. On Tuesday night, the number 3 ranked contender took to X to explain why he believes he deserves the next title shot. In a calm but confident post, he wrote, "No trash talk, just facts. Ian Garry lost to me while I was injured. He hasn't finished anyone in his last 6 fights, and Prates almost stopped him. Doesn't sound like a number 1 contender to me." For Shavkat, the path to the belt is simple. Results speak louder than hype. However, not everyone agreed with him. MMA Guru responded directly, pushing back with his own sharp criticism, writing, "No trash talk, just facts. You've tweeted more times about other fighters than you have landed significant strikes inside the octagon in the past year. Doesn't sound like a number one contender to me. The exchange quickly gained attention, stirring debate among fans about who truly deserves the next shot at the title. Later, Shavkat appeared on the Ariel Helwani show, where he offered a slightly adjusted perspective. While still confident he should be next for the belt, he said he's willing to take one more fight if needed, as long as it's a genuine number one contender matchup. He explained that he was originally supposed to fight for the title, but had a respectful personal reason for not accepting the opportunity at that time. According to him, the UFC promised he would still receive a title shot in the future. Shavkat went on to say that if he has to fight again before that title opportunity comes, he's completely ready. He stated, "I can prove again that I'm the number one contender. I'm the rightful contender." He made it clear that anyone on his timeline who puts him directly back into title position is someone he's willing to face. Whether it's Islam next or another top welterweight, Shavkat believes he is the man who deserves to stand in line for championship gold, and he's prepared to remind the division why. Moving on to another news. The situation at UFC 322 has taken a serious turn, as the NYPD is now investigating the chaotic brawl involving Dylan Danis and members of KHABIB'S team near Islam Makhachev's corner. The incident unfolded inside Madison Square Garden just before the main card began. According to reports, Danis walked into the arena area close to Makhachev's corner and was immediately confronted. Among those who stepped forward was UFC newcomer Magomed Chanco Zinov, also known as John Poor, along with several others from the team. What started as a heated face-off quickly escalated into pushing, shouting, and a full-on altercation that required security intervention to calm things down. New York City Mayor Eric Adams addressed the situation publicly, posting on X that the assaults at Madison Square Garden were completely unacceptable. He emphasized that the NYPD had already begun a full investigation and that everyone involved would be held accountable for their actions. Adams made it clear that violence of this nature, especially at a high-profile sporting event, would not be tolerated under any circumstances. The situation drew rapid reactions online as well. Ali Abdelaziz posted a sharp response aimed at Conor and his circle, writing, "At the notorious MMA, I thought you were gangsters, but now you guys call the police." Typical fake. His comment added even more fuel to an already escalating storyline between the camps. As the investigation continues, questions remain about what consequences the individuals involved might face, both legally and within the UFC. The incident has sparked widespread discussion throughout the MMA community about security, fighter conduct, and the growing tension between rival camps. With the NYPD actively reviewing footage and collecting statements, the fallout from this UFC 322 confrontation is far from over.